reason, by the way, that we also blow the shofar during these days, because it says in Tanat B'Pekei Eliezer, it says that in Rosh Chodesh Elul, Hashem told Moshe to go back to Mount Sinai and to accept the second Luchot, and this is the day that they blew shofar in the whole camp, and Moshe went back to heaven. The idea of blowing the shofar was to make sure that the Jewish people would not do this same mistake again. They shouldn't worship idols. It says in Sefer Tehillim, Perak Mem Zayin, Allah Elokim B'Truah. This is when they blew the shofar, and this is why the Ashkenazi, at least, they blow the shofar all Rosh Chodesh Elul every year and the whole month, to make sure people don't do the same mistake again. It says, Umal Hashem et levavcha ve'et levav zaracha. Initials is Elul. It says in Sefer Dvarim, Hashem kind of is going to circumcise your heart and the heart of your offsprings, okay? And in our chapter, it says, Lule he'emanti lirot b'tuv Hashem. Lule otiyot Elul. Same letters of Elul. This is something that brings Baal HaTurim. So again, Bezot yavo Aron ad HaKodesh. When? Because in this day on Yom Kippur, it says, Ki bayom hazeh yechaper lechem mikol chatotchem lifnei Hashem titharu. The preparation to get into the holy Kodesh HaKodashim, and this is what is done these days. Now, it's interesting that King David is asking for forgiveness for that sin that he did, that he believed that he did for that he took Bathsheba, and he used the same phrases, okay, that and the same hints that are in Moshe's request right after Chet HaEgel. Moshe says over there, says Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says in Masechet Avodah Zarah, לא עשו ישראל את העגל אלא ליתן פתחון פה לבעלי תשובה. Why it says that as a group, as a whole, as a nation, Jewish people, they made the sin of the golden calf, and this is pitchon peh lebaalei tshuva. This is how he teaches the public to do tshuva. And says Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, לא דוד ראוי לאותו מעשה ולא ישראל ראויים לאותו מעשה, אלא למה עשו? The king David teaches privately, when people do personally, when they do a sin, a way of tshuva. This is what we learn from King David over here. It says bezot, the numerical value of bezot is 408, and in Gematria the same words are sulam, which is prayer, plus mammon, which is charity, plus tzom, which is fast, together becomes 408. This is tshuva, tefillah, u'tzedakah, that ma'avirin et roa hagzera. This is this bezot that we mentioned. In the end of the Mizmor, King David, he says, Kaveh Hashem, Chazak v'yamet libecha v'kaveh el Hashem. Twice it says, you have to hope, you have to hope, you have to hope. And because hope is the thing that gives us, this the engine that gives us success. People, if they despair, they cannot do things in the world. They cannot think positive. They miss their goal. They get empty. It empties their spiritual strength. They cannot do anything. And many times when people pray to Hashem and the prayer is not answered, people feel despair. They feel upset. They're not happy about this. And we have to understand that when we pray to Hashem, we have no guarantee that Hashem is going to listen to us. Our job is to pray. Our job is to hope. Not the security that we get that Hashem definitely is going to change it, whatever. Listen to this strong story that I read today. Beautiful story. What does it mean to give hope? What does it mean not to despair? It's a true story. Natan Muchnik, he was a guy that lived in the United States, had a very phenomenal memory. Everything that he sees, he remembers on the spot, and he can draw the same, whatever you saw, he can draw it on the picture, whether it's a map, whether it's whatever is the description of anything he can see. Because of his ability, when World War II started, he was drafted to the army, and he was in the intelligence. You know, intelligence, when they collect things from the because he is able to he can memorize things, right? He can deliver information back and forth and so on. So, during the war, when the war was about to end, they were freeing this camp that's called Theresienstadt. It's in Romania. They're freeing this camp, a lot of Jews there, a lot of this. And the war ended, and so he was looking for a big shul. It was coming, Rosh Hashana was coming up, and was looking for a big shul to to contain these 600 people that they were rescuing from this camp, plus more than 1,000 soldiers that were with him. He was a chaplain in this and some other soldiers that came from all over. They heard there's going to be a big prayer in that shul. They came all over. He found this main shul in Frankfurt that the Nazis didn't touch for some reason. They changed it to their headquarters or whatever, and they made Nazis themselves prepared this shul. It was funny, to make it a prayer hall for Rosh Hashana. It was a big event. They have even pictures where this captain, the Natan Muchnik, right, was sitting in that hall. A lot of American flags, and the elite of the commanders of the chief of the American allies were sitting there also, and the leadership of General Eisenhower, okay, that became later on the President of the United States. So they were all sitting there, all these generals, plus the Jewish rabbis and the soldier, whoever sat there. And before he starts praying, this Natan Muchnik, he had a very strong voice. Before he starts praying, all of a sudden he saw this guy that was covered with a talit. All his body was covered. He was looking at him. Who is this man? For a second, a glimpse he saw. Whatever he saw, just he got goosebumps. he was a skeleton. That's what he saw. Not only a skeleton. A lot of people were so thin after because of starvation and everything. Not only this, his eyes. He has huge eyes. He had huge eyes. They were sunk in their holes. There was no hope. There was devastation. There was empty. There was hopeless. Helpless. He saw all this in this 1 second that he saw. Right? He said to himself, I don't know this man. How can I do? What can I do? He saw him, and it inspired him to pray really hard at that moment. Now it was time to pray Untanei Tokef. Last year we spoke about this prayer, special prayer that Ashkenazi people say just before Musaf of Rosh Hashana. It's a prayer that wrote Harav Amnon Mimagenza, where they were torturing him because they wanted him to convert to Christianity, and he didn't want. They were cutting his finger or whatever. So he wrote this prayer. This prayer is a very, very strong prayer. He speaks there about the day of judgment, that Hashem decides who is going to live, who is going to die, who is going to be rich, who is going to be poor, what country, right, who is going to have rain, who is going to have abundance, who is going to be poor, and so on and so on. And when he says these things, he says it in such a loud voice. All the people starts crying because, you see, there were Holocaust survivors just came out from the camps. Everyone had somebody or most of the family died there. You say, mi yeh, mi amut, that they all went through this, and it's so hard for them, and they're crying, and the whole shul is crying. It was such a powerful tefillah. He felt it, the people felt it, and it was very, very strong. And then in the end it says, V'atahu kel chai v'kayam. You are Hashem, you know, you have your reasons, you know why you do judge this way. We have no way of knowing, but you know. This is how it finishes, basically. Right after the prayer finished, he wanted to look for this guy again to see where he is. He disappeared, didn't find him anymore. He asked around. There was another chaplain over there by the name Newhouse, and he told him, yeah, I know this name. This guy, his name is Greenbaum. And he told him his story. It's such a sad story. He said, he used to work in the camp. His job was, whenever the Nazis used to put the prisoners into these gas chambers, he was supposed to wait outside the doors. He heard, Lo Alenu, how these people were knocking the doors to get out. They couldn't. How they scratched the doors. They can't. How they scream inside. And how slowly, slowly their voice fade, and then there was death, silence. This is how he knew that nobody survived. This is his job now, to open the doors, to remove all the dead bodies from there, to put them on a special truck that will take them to the crematorium, where they burn the bodies. One day, see, these people, they're not even thinking what they used to do it with closed eyes, not to see him. He didn't like to do it. Well, what could he do? If not, they will kill him. And so he did that automatically. One day, when he picks up the bodies and he throws them to the truck, he feels that this is too light body, too small. He thought probably it's a baby, not a baby, a small child, but also felt that it's alive. For some reason he felt that it's alive. So he opened his eyes and he sees this is somebody is breathing. It's a little girl breathing still. And at that second, he saw that it was his own girl. He wants to extend his hand to reach her. She extends his hand, but then the truck just took her, and that's it. He wasn't able to do anything. He felt so bad. He didn't know what to do with himself. So he doing his job like an automatic, not even thinking, no. And then when they freed him, he was praying, because it was the day of Rosh Hashana, but in his mind, you see, in his eyes, he didn't have no life, empty, and he wanted to commit suicide right after Rosh Hashana. This is what the chaplain told him. So he was looking for him, wanted to comfort him, wanted to say a few words, but he didn't find him anymore. This Rabbanit Yehoshua, that's it. A few years later, in America, he was praying in a certain place. Somebody comes and shakes his hands warmly, and he's like, "Who are you? I don't know you." He says, "Do you remember the guy that was covered with the talit? That's me. I'm Greenbaum." "What? You got alive? What happened? Tell me." He tells him, "I want to tell you something. I was devastated. I was crushed. I didn't know what to do with myself. I really wanted to commit suicide. But then I heard your prayer. You prayed so good. And you said, Hashem, I don't understand your actions, but I'm sure it's for the best. I'm sure you know your calculation. We don't understand it. And you gave me with your prayer and all the people that were inside there so much power. I thought until that moment that Jews will be finished, there will be no continuity, and Hashem hates us and He doesn't want us to survive, and He doesn't want us to continue in this world anymore. But you gave me the hope that we can do it, and we could defeat back the Nazis, and we could take things into our hands and reborn. And that's what I did. I came to America, I got married, I have few children, and they all learn, I do give them Jewish education, and I know that there is hope. This is the great lesson that King David teaches us. Kavel Hashem, chazak v'yametz livcha. Give yourself strength. Go to shiurim. Go to open book. Learn musar. Do whatever you can during these days. Because if not these days, when? Give strength to yourself. If you're able, give strength to other people. Vekavel Hashem. Still continue hoping that there will be a better day. Thank you. Questions?